A good day and welcome. It's a rare occasion that I actually managed to put out the preview before I put the rest of the article out. It's tactical choice because I it's starting to get dark and otherwise I couldn't film this anymore. Anyway, it's really not here or there. But let's just get straight into it. For the general reading of this month, I have the usual format, which I borrowed from Freya Eswin. And this was not the intended purpose of the reading, but as it goes, sometimes certain formats work different for different people, and I found this one to be working better for me in this way. While most certainly the people that have gotten readings from me will recognize this format because I also use it for its to analyze situations and questions. Anyway, there are 5 runes. You have the central one, which is the dominant energy of the month, surrounded by the top one, which is what are the influences that you may encounter or feel a certain influence from the outside world, specifically the outside world, not anything to do with your personal life per se. And then, of course, then there is the one at the bottom, which is your roots, your ancestry, your intuition, your family line, anything that comes from the roots comes bubbling up to the surface that is personal to you, but which may be a reaction from from your blood memory, if you will, to what is happening as a reaction to what is happening to the outside world, either to the general energies of the month or a reaction to what is happening from the outside that may come in and influence you. On the left side, you have the what absolutely not to do. What would be a bad way of reacting or a bad way to go forward, considering what's at play in this month. And then on the right side, you have the right way, how to prepare yourself or how to handle the situations, or most importantly, how to handle yourself, which is always more important than how you handle other outside things. Handle yourself. Now, for the center rune, Yera, again, I had this one. I had this one in the reading that I did on the ministry as well. It's a bit different this time. Um, well, for obvious reasons. Yera is actually almost never a negative rune to receive, but it can be negatively aspected, which will then influence the generally benevolent nature of the rune. Now, as the rune of natural cycles and natural law, the concept of reap what you sow is pretty much the center of the rune's nature. Natural law cannot be escaped, nor can it be ignored, at least not for long. The bill always comes. So this month, there may be plenty of things that are culminating as the result of past actions. Meaning that if you have ignored certain problems in your life, like around your home or social circle, it may come to the point that you can no longer ignore them because the issue is getting too large to ignore. It will become the proverbial elephant in the room. If you have been putting off certain things in the spirit of procrastination, it just means that we are having to deal with certain things that always have had the shadow of inevitability looming over them. Very much like winter. Winter always comes, but then again, so will spring. This may also very well be the case of reaping rewards for past actions. If you have been putting in a lot of work in certain things, you may start to see some very welcome results from that. Yera is fairness in that sense, that it always returns what is being put into it. So, return of value. Very much like a farmer on his field, The farmer that tends to his crops and makes sure those crops are shielded from the destructive nature of certain elements and pests is almost guaranteed to have a better yield than the farmer who adopts a method of laissez-faire. Just let it be. It certainly is not possible to prevent destructive weather from happening, but it absolutely is in our ability to prepare for those weather patterns. And we can shield our crops, we can water the soil, we can give nourishment to that soil when we see it becoming depleted of nutrients. Or we can throw our hands up to the sky and pretend that this is just how the gods will it when certain destructive weather patterns happen. And while that part is actually not untrue, and we have no control over it, the gods did indeed will it. We also know this beforehand, that it can happen, and that also we can prepare for it before it happens. Because once the skies have cleared and that destructive weather pattern has passed, only one of those farmers will have faced total destruction. Don't be that farmer. And I know this sounds a bit gloomy and I don't mean it as such, but it is important to highlight that this is the nature of Hera. It is important to not give up too soon or to just let ourselves be a plaything in the hands of global events that are outside of our personal control. When things are good, we must prepare ourselves for when things become bad. And when things are bad, we must never let despair take a hold of us, because that too will not last forever. Now, in this reading, there don't seem to be runes that are negatively influencing Yera, but there are a few subtle warnings, which I will go into the part that are for subscribers on Substack. Overall, it seems to be a good time to start planning ahead, start making long-term plans, even though we are under the influence of a Mercury retrograde. And it is generally not a good idea to start new things during that time. We can still make plans and take the time to think them through thoroughly, which is also reflected in another part of this reading. We can take the time to go over our plans, review our plans, iron out any wrinkles that may become an issue in the future. It is a beautiful rune to receive at the start of spring, because it's so full of hope, of invigoration, and the idea of a clean slate, which is the idea of it's perhaps more important than an actual clean slate, because it's all in the mind. In the mind, perception is reality. To the clean slate in the idea that we have learned from our past mistakes, and we will take that into the future with us so that we don't have to keep repeating those mistakes. It can become a very motivating month in which we can start preparing for a lot of things that will pay off in the long run with a steady hand and a steady mind. We must never let ourselves believe we are powerless, because once we start believing that, we become like tumbleweed in the wind, always moving, but not going anywhere. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. The full article will be posted soon on Substack. And once it is posted, I will put the link to it in the comments. As always, thank you again for listening, and may you walk with the gods.